Hello friends, in this lecture we will learn about Harsha Empire. In later Gupta period, later Gupta ruler occupied Bihar region, Magध region, then Mukharis in UP, and then Olikaras in Malwa region, and Matrakas in Gujarat, and Vakataka in Deccan region. And northwest frontier was occupied by Huns. But over the time, the political structure gets changed into new dynasty. The later Gupta ruler occupied Magध, Mukharis UP region, then Matrakas in Gujarat region, and in Malwa region, a new dynasty emerged, which replaced Alikara dynasty, and it was Kalchuryas. And then Vakatak were replaced by Chalukyas. And in North India, in Northwest India, a new dynasty came, that is Vardhan dynasty, Kalchurya dynasty. In the last slide, I showed a political map in which I talk about Kalchurya dynasty, but there 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 are three Kalchurya dynasty. One is Kalchurya of Mahismati, second is Kalchurya of Tripuri, and third one is Kalchurya of Kalyani. In the last map, I talked about Kalchurya of Mahismati. Kalchurya of Mahismati ruled from 550 AD to 625 AD in MP and Maharashtra region, Malwa and Maharashtra region. And they were also known as High Hayas or early Kalchurya. They ruled from capital at Mahismati in at MP. Krishnaraj I was the important ruler of Kalchurya of Mahismati. He ruled from 550 AD to 575 AD, and Elephanta caves and earliest Brahmanical cave at Ellora were built during the time period of Krishnaraj I. Kalchurya of Tripura, Kalchurya of Tripuri. They ruled from 675 AD to 1212 AD. They ruled mainly MP region nearby Yamuna river. They ruled Malwa region, and they were also known as Kalchurya of Chedi or later Kalchurya. Kalchurya of Mahismati was where early Kalchurya, and Kalchurya of Tripuri was later Kalchurya dynasty. Then the third one is Kalchurya of Kalyani. Kalchurya of Kalyani came into power in 1156 AD, and they ruled up to 1181 AD, and they ruled Maharashtra and Karnataka region mainly, and they were also known as Southern Southern Kalchurya. And Bhasavana, Bhasavana, founder of Lingayat sect or Lingayatism, was the prime minister of King Bijala II, and King Bijala II was ruler of Kalchurya of Kalyani dynasty. Now let's start Vardhan dynasty or Pushyabhuti dynasty. The sources of this dynasty we found uh, about this dynasty from Harshavardhana. Harshavardhana was written into poetry form. It was compiled into 8 chapters, with first 2 chapters was dedicated to ancestor of Harshavardhana, and later 6 chapters was dedicated to Harsha, and it was written by Ban Bhatt in Sanskrit language. Then second book is Siyuki, and it was travelogue of Buddhist monk Huyen San. Then there are copper plate inscription issued by Harshavardhan or King Harsha, and this also give some detail about Harshavardhan Empire. So important copper plate is Madhuban plate inscription at UP. It gives detail about fourth generation of Vardhan dynasty, and then Sonipat plate inscription at in Haryana. It give the details about kings and their reign, from which time period to which time period they ruled. And these two inscription, copper plate inscription, Madhuban plate inscription and Sonipat plate inscription, are helpful to know about the chronology of King Harshavardhana. In Sonipat inscription, copper plate inscription, Haryana, it- we found the King Harsha was mentioned as Harshavardhan with full name. At all other place, we found he was mentioned by Harsha or some other names. It was only Sonipat copper plate inscription where we find uh, his full name Harshavardhan. Baskheda inscription UP. In Baskheda inscription, we find the sign of King Harshavardhan, Harsha, and it shows Harsha was a great calligrapher. You can see sign below. You can see uh, how decorately it was written. So it shows Harsha was a great calligrapher, and this Baskheda inscription was issued from the place named Vardhaman Koti. Then next is Nabha copper plate inscription. We found this Nabha copper plate inscription from Punjab, and it gives detail about land grants to a Brahman. In this copper plate inscription, Nabha copper plate inscription, it was mentioned that a village named Pannar Pannaran Pannaranagaka Pannaranagaka was granted to a Brahman named Ulukwa Swamin. So it gives the Pan, Pannaranagaka gram was granted to Ulukwa Swami, and this gram is under the Darikani Visay, not West, it Visay. Visay means district, and this district is under Jayratha Bhukti. Bhukti was province. The Now let's see about the dynasty. We have seen the source. Now let's move on dynasty. The founder of this dynasty was Pusyabhuti. We get detail from Harsharitra. Harsharitra what Banbhat wrote 8 chapter in Harsharit, and first 2 chapter were dedicated to ancestors. So Banbhat mentioned the founder of dynasty as Pusyabhuti, and the capital of the dynasty was Isthaniswara or Thaneswar at Haryana. In Harsharit, the dynasty is named as Puspabhuti. Banbhat mentioned the dynasty name as Puspabhuti, but modern historian called this dynasty the Vardhan dynasty based on the name of rulers as Harshavardhan and Rajyavardhan and other rulers. So the name modern historian used to call this dynasty as Vardhan dynasty. Uh, The important ruler was father of Harshavardhan. The first important ruler was father of Harshavardhan, and he was named Prabhakar Vardhan. Prabhakar Vardhan has had 2 sons and a daughter. Sons were Rajyavardhan. Rajyavardhan was elder son, and then Harshavardhan. And uh, Prabhakar Vardhan had a daughter named Rajyasri. Prabhakar Vardhan married his daughter to Mokhari king Grahavarman. Mokhari was the ruler who ruled UP territory, Uttar Pradesh territory. And after the death of Prabhakar Vardhan, king of Malwa attacked the Kannauj or Mukhari kingdom with the help of Goda ruler of Bengal or Sasanka. They killed Grahavarman and captured Rajyasri, sister of Harshavardhan. And to protect her sister, Rajyavardhan attacked Rajyavardhan, brother of Harshavardhan, attacked the Malwa king, but he was killed by Goda ruler of Bengal. So after the death of his father and his elder brother, Harshavardhan became king at the age of 16. Harshavardhan formed an alliance with Kamrupa king Bhaskar Varman to attack the Goda king to take revenge of his brother. So he attacked the Goda king. He defeats the Goda kingdom and protect his sister. After this, many rulers accept his suzerainty, including Bhaskar Varman of Kamrupa kingdom. He made his new capital at Kannauj, and Kannauj was originally Mokhari king territory, and it was looted by Malwa kingdom. And the queen of Mokhari kingdom was Harshavardhan's sister, but his husband was killed by Malwa ruler, and then he was captured by Malwa king. and she finally saved by Harshavardhan. And after saving his sister, he made Kannauj his part of his territory, and he started ruling from Kannauj. Sasanka was a self follower, and he was God ruler, God ruler, and he fell the Bodhi tree at Bodh Gaya. So this was the map that evolved over the period of time. We saw earlier map where Vardhan dynasty ruled very small territory, but you can see how Harshavardhan expanded the territory. Harshavardhan controlled a major part of North India, and then we found Chalukya dynasty and then Pallava dynasty in south. Harshavardhan. The territory of the Harshavardhan ruled from 680 to 647 AD, and the territory of Harshavardhan was from Vallabi to Kamarupa. It was east to west stretch, then Himalaya to Narmada as north to south stretch. Um, Harshavardhan was also a writer. He wrote Ratnavali, Nagnanda, and Priyadarsika. And these three are Sanskrit drama or Sanskrit play. We found earliest mention of Holi in Ratnavali. The court poet of Harshavardhan was Banbhat. Banbhat wrote Harscharit, Parvati Parna, and Kadambari. Harscharit was biography of Harsha Parvati Parna. In Parvati Parna, he uh, described the marriage of Ma Parvati with Lord Shiva. And then a Kadambari, it was a play or drama. And Kadambari was completed by his son Bhushan Bhatta. Ban Bhatt died before completion of Kadambari, so Kadambari was completed by his son Bhushan Bhatta. Uh, to expand the kingdom, Harshavardhan fought war with Vallabi king Dhruvasen, uh, and at that time Vallabi was ruled by Maitrakas dynasty. And after defeating him, he married his daughter to Dhruvasen to start marriage alliance, and he also conquered the Ganjam region. So in west side he conquered Gujarat region, and east side he conquered Odisha region, Ganjam region. And after unifying the northern territory, he took the title of Uttar Pathapati, and its meaning is Lord of North. And he also took title of Saklo, Saklottar Pathanath, Lord of all direction. Uh, for further expansion of the territory, he expedited to south but defeated by Pulkesan II, a Chalukyan king, in 619 AD. We found the mention of this war in Ayol inscription at Karnataka. Ayol inscription at Karnataka give the description about fight between Pulkesan II and Harshavardhan, and it was written by court poet of Pulkesan II. And we also found the mention of this war in the travelogue of Yuan Sang. The travelogue is named as Siyuki. Siyuki also give description about the war between Pulkesin II and Harshavardhan. Lakshman temple at Sirpur at Chhattisgarh was constructed during his time period. And at Sirpur we found lot of monuments, and it was named as Sirpur group of monuments. In Chhattisgarh, it was Sirpur was Sirpur is situated near Mahanadi river, and at Sirpur we found Hindu, Jain, and Buddhist monuments, and it developed from 5th century AD to 12th century AD. And Lakshman temple at Sirpur was developed during the time period of Harshavardhan. When Song visited India during the reign of Harshavardhan, he visited India around 630 AD. Harshavardhan was originally a Saivite, but he converted to Buddhism or Mahayan Buddhism under the influence of Huensang. He banned animal slaughter under the influence of Buddhism. He organized assembly at Kannauj and at Prayag, as described in CUK. He made a lot of donation at Prayag assemblies. In the book CUK, Harshavardhan was mentioned with the name Siladit, not by Harsha. And in his copper plate inscription, he was mentioned by Harsha. But at Sony copper plate inscription, his full name was written. It was Harshavardhan. And in Harsharith also he was mentioned by Harsha. Huensang studied at Nalanda University under the guidance of Silabhadra. Silabhadra was teacher of Huensang at Nalanda. From Nalanda, he visited the court of Bhaskar Varman on his request. And from Kamrupa, he went into south up to Kachi, and Kachi was capital of Pallava dynasty. And at that time, Pallava dynasty was ruled by Narsimhavarman I. And from Kanchi, he visited western region, including Kalyani port and Bharuch port. Nalanda University was under the patronage of King Harsha. Huensang extensively Song extensively traveled in India. He traveled northern region, northeast India, including Kamrupa, then southern region, Kanchi. Then he went Kalyanipur in Maharashtra, then Gujarat region. He traveled a lot in India. Hensang travel accounts give detail of ancient Indian cities with exact distance, and it is used for excavation of ancient Indian cities at present. It help in excavation of ancient Indian cities. Harshavardhan sent an ambassador to Tang Dynasty, China. Later, the Tang Dynasty sent an ambassador Wang Zhuang to India. In India, Wang finds Harshavardhan already dead, and the new ruler of Kannauj attacked Wang. Wang escaped to Tibet, and with the help of Tibetan army, he raided India, and later he returned to Tibet with Magd people as prisoners, including the um, king of Kannauj. Harshavardhan died in 647 AD without an heir, so it was the end of Vardhan dynasty. The administration of Harshavardhan dynasty of Harsha Empire administration was on the same line as of the Gupta Empire, but it was more decentralized than Gupta Empire, and we find more hereditary post in Harshavardhan Empire. The territory was divided same as in Gupta Empire. Bhukti was province. It was governed by Governor Uparika. Then Visay was district. District was ruled by Visaypati. Then Gram was ruled by Gramika. In Harsha time, the crime was we found more crime, especially robbery incident, and punishment was severe in Harsha time period. Tax was one-sixth of the produce, and Nilupittu was the archives or account detail maintained by Harsha administrators. Revenue expenditure was divided into four parts. One is king expenditure, then second is for scholars expenditure, third is public servant and official, and then fourth one is for religious purpose. In the Harsha time, less coins were issued, and the coins were issued with king face on one side of coin and image of peacock on the other side of coin. Salary of the royal officers were paid by land grants, and because of this more decentralized kingdom than the Gupta Empire, because higher officers' salary was paid by mainly land grant. The society during Harsha Empire, we found caste system, then decline in Swamvar, sati system, and widow remarriage. Sati system was prevalent and widow remarriage was not allowed, particularly in higher caste system or higher varna. And Dori became common practice at the time of Harsha Empire. Mahayana Buddhists flourished under the patronage of Harsha. And Nalanda was maintained with the revenue from 100 to 200 village. Uh, When Sang mentioned that Nalanda University was maintained with the help of revenue of 100 village, but I think another Buddhist monk who visited India in 675 AD, he mentioned that Nalanda was maintained with the help of revenue of 200 villages. I think came to India via the sea route. He first came to Indonesia, then from Indonesia he came to Odisha, India. He studied at Nalanda for 11 years and returned to China via the sea route from Indonesia, the same route from which he came. Unlike Fayan and Huensang, he did not visit Tatsila Lumbini and other Buddhist places. He mainly stayed at Nalanda University, I see. In post-Harsha period, in post-Harsha period, Wang Zhuang, the Chinese ambassador, captured the Kannauj ruler and took him to China as a prisoner of war. Then after that, Varman dynasty rose. It rose around 700 to 770 AD, and the important ruler of Varman dynasty was Yashovarman. He ruled from 725 AD to 752 AD. Alexander Cunningham, founder of Archaeological Survey of India, considered this dynasty as Mukharis of UP. He thinks that Yashovarman was from the Mukharis dynasty of UP. And the court poet of Yashovarman was Vakpati. Vakpati wrote a text named Godha Bahu was Prakrit poem and its mean God Goda means slaying of the king God. So Yashovarman was the king who killed God king. Bhavbhuti. Uh, Bhavbhuti was a Sanskrit scholar and he was known by another name. He was also known by another name Srikant Neelkant. He wrote Mahavir Charitra. Mahavir Charitra was related to early life of Lord Rama. Then he wrote Uttar Ramcharitra. Uttar Ramcharitra is later life of Lord Rama. Then he wrote a Sanskrit play named Mal, Malati Malti Madhva. It was Sanskrit play. So Bhav Bhuti was important Sanskrit scholar. His contribution in Indian literature is great. So it is important to remember Bhav Bhuti um, and his three composition. One is Mahavir Charitra, that is early life of Lord Rama, then Uttar Ramcharit, and then Malti Madhva. As per Raj Tarangani, written by Kalhan, Yashovarman was defeated by Laltadit Muktapida. Laltadit Muktapida was Kashmir ruler of Karkota dynasty. Regarding Bhav Bhuti was court person of Yashovarman. Bhoja. Bhoja was the last king of Varman dynasty. After that, Kannauj was ruled by Ayudhas dynasty. Chakra Ayudha was the last Ayudha ruler and he was defeated by Nag Bhatt II of Gurjar Pratihar dynasty, and after that Kannauj came under the rule of Gurjar Pratihar ruler. So the Kannauj was ruled by Vardhan dynasty, then after Vardhan it was ruled by Varman dynasty, after Varman it was ruled by Ayudhas, and after Ayudhas it was ruled by Gurjar Pratihar dynasty. And there is king named Yasodharman and another king named Yasovarman. Yasodharman rise after the decline of Gupta Empire, and Yasovarman rise after the decline of Harsha Empire. So they belongs to different time period, but their name match. Uh, there is similarity between the name of these two rulers, so uh, I talk about it. So this is the end of lecture. Thank you.